The shovel in your garden shed has a story that goes back to 1774, when a blacksmith named Captain John Ames started forging metal shovels for the colonies. Those shovels marched to war with George Washington's Revolutionary Army. They headed west with gold rush prospectors, who used them as currency. Abraham Lincoln called on Ames tools to help build the Union Pacific Railroad. By the late 1800s, Ames controlled 60% of the world's shovel market, churning out 5,000 shovels every single day. Today, after 250 years of American manufacturing, that production has moved to China. This is how America's greatest tool company sold out, and the story of 3 digging tool brands that refused to follow. The True Temper brand itself started in 1808, when the Old Stone Forge opened in Wallingford, Vermont. That small operation grew into the American Fork and Hoe Company, which by 1930 had become America's largest hand tool company. They supplied roughly 90% of the hand tools U.S. farmers used. That same year, they bought out the Kelly-Axe Manufacturing Company, and the True Temper brand was born. Meanwhile, Ames built its own legendary reputation. Its wheelbarrows helped construct the Hoover Dam. Its shovels carved Mount Rushmore. A plant in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, had run continuously since 1876, producing 85% of all wheelbarrows were in the United States and Canada, 1.7 million every year from a single facility. In 1999, Ames bought True Temper, bringing 2 centuries of American toolmaking under one roof. That's when everything went wrong. From that moment on, this company stopped caring about tools and started chasing transactions. In 2001, a Chicago investment firm called WinPoint Partners bought it. 3 years later, WinPoint flipped it to a New York firm, Castle Harlan. Then, in 2010, Castle Harlan sold it to Griffin Corporation for $542 million. 4 owners in 11 years. Not one of them actually made tools. In May 2023, Griffin announced it was expanding its global sourcing strategy to include long-handle tools and material handling product lines. That's corporate speak for shipping jobs overseas. The plan would shrink their U.S. facility footprint by approximately 1.2 million square feet and eliminate roughly 600 American jobs. The Harrisburg plant, the one running since 1876, got shuttered. Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Fairfield, Iowa. Grantsville, Maryland. 4 wood mills, all closed. By September 2024, they'd finished the job ahead of schedule. Here's what really stings. In 2017, President Trump visited that very Harrisburg wheelbarrow factory to mark his first 100 days in office. Standing on the factory floor, he declared, "We believe in Made in the USA, and it's coming back stronger and better and faster than even I thought." That factory sits dark now. The wheelbarrows come from China. Griffin's goal was hitting 15% EBITDA margins through what they called an asset-light structure. They've since announced plans to spin off the tool division into a joint venture with a Canadian private equity firm called OnCap, which will hold 57% equity. 250 years of American heritage ends with a Canadian private equity majority stake. But not every American tool company chose that path. While the giants chased margins, 3 smaller companies kept their forges burning. The first is Council Tool, operating out of Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. John Pickett Council founded it in 1886. He was a turpentine producer who got fed up with the lousy quality of available tools and decided to make his own. Today, Council Tool is still run by 4th and 5th generation family members who work right alongside 2nd and 3rd generation craftsmen on the shop floor. Their axes get forged from 5160 steel, a high-carbon tool steel that holds an edge longer than cheaper alternatives, and handled with American hickory. During World War II, the company worked around the clock to produce specialized wrenches flown straight to Europe for the Anzio Beach invasion. 139 years later, they're still forging in the same town, on the same family plot. The second is Bully Tools, based in Steubenville, Ohio. Mark Gracie founded it in 1994, and their official registered name tells you everything. 100% made in the USA. Bully Tools. Gracie puts it simply, every single ounce of every product is made in the USA. The vast majority of it is made in our factory. The rest is made within 50 miles of here. Their shovels use true 14-gauge steel, up to 30% thicker than competitor models. The handles feature triple-wall fiberglass construction with a reinforced wood core. Wirecutter named their round point shovel the best you can buy. 3 years ago, they added 20,000 square feet to their facility. Now, they are nearly doubling that again with another 40,000. While Griffin was closing plants, Bully Tools was expanding. The third is Warwood Tool in Wheeling, West Virginia. The story goes back to 1854, when an English immigrant named Henry Warwood left the Pittsburgh steel mills and founded his own tool company. When his company moved to Wheeling in the early 1900s, an entire town sprang up around the factory and took the name Warwood, and that town still thrives today. American soldiers have carried Warwood tools into every conflict since the Civil War, including the entrenching mattocks used to dig foxholes across Europe in both world wars. In nearly 170 years, the company has changed ownership only 7 times. Their commitment is absolute. Only the highest quality American steel. Every tool forged, bent, ground, and handled by hand. As they put it, we still make it like they used to make it, because it's the best way to make it. Council Tool has been forging since 1886, Warwood since 1854, Bully Tools since 1994, and they are growing every year. These aren't companies that couldn't afford to outsource, they are companies that chose not to. The difference comes down to one thing: who owns the company and what they value. When your owner is a family that works the shop floor, decisions get made differently than when your owner is a holding company chasing EBITDA targets. 600 Americans lost their jobs so Griffin could hit a margin number. Meanwhile, in Lake Waccamaw, Steubenville, and Wheeling, the forges are still burning. So the next time you pick up a shovel or swing an axe, take a second to look at where it was made. Because the companies that stuck it out, still hammering American steel in American factories with American hands, they could use your business. And they will build you a tool that lasts a lifetime.